Hey everybody, Pay Marine here, and here we go for the third attempt. So I have tried to make, this is my third attempt, hopefully this time it works, this video, like I said 3 times now. The first time was a live stream that didn't go live. Some user error or something happened there. I didn't click the right things, and so I did the whole live stream, like the hobby hangout and live stream, and YouTube like recorded it all, but it never went live. And it kept saying it was like scheduled, and kept pushing the start time back. But then I don't know, when I tried to make it go live or publish, it wouldn't let me publish what it was already there in the preview. I don't know. So I lost that whole video, and had to redo it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll have to do my second first impressions based off of the article. So I made that video and then went to go edit it, and there was no sound. So hopefully third time's a charm, and that will not be the case this time. So we'll go over my third first impressions of everything that came out on the Warhammer preview. So I guess to get started, let's talk about the Warhammer preview in general. Now, this is something I've thought a long time, and I hope that they continue to do this, and I hope it's something they continue to do going forward, is the live stream of the preview thing. I know a lot of people say, well, that could take away the specialness of being able to go to a preview event at an event, but I don't think so. I like the idea, and I'm pretty sure they're well within their ability to do that. And even better, I almost think, for those that are at home, not able to make it there in person, because they could watch it, kind of get like the crowd reaction and stuff, but when they go to put up like the little trailer preview videos that they do, it would then take up like your actual screen, and you'd be able to see it clearly, because at those preview events they only let so many people in, but still at the end of the day, if you're in the back or you're like kind of off to the side, you might not get like the best view of what they're showing. And this wouldn't be something they would be able to do going forward as far as getting the actual individuals. I mean, they could, but I don't think they would get the actual individuals that are involved in each project to kind of like come in and say something about it. The reason why I say that is because usually at the live events, especially when they come to like Adepticon, Nova, LVO, all that stuff, since they're traveling overseas, they don't bring absolutely everybody. They bring like a select few, and so because of that, generally this comes out more in the Q&A, because like they'll come out, they'll give like a little bit of info, they'll have a little spiel they'll go over, show the video and all that, and at the end in the Q&A, when people start asking more specifics on certain things, a lot of the times they'll be like, well, I don't work for that section or whatever, I can't really speak on that. So maybe going forward, yeah, I don't know how they would really solve that issue, but regardless, I still think it would be a great idea if they live stream those, so everybody around the world can take place in them, and then still make it somewhat, you save something for the people that show, because like the Nova one that I went to just this past year, everybody there underneath the chair was a free Sisters of Battle model, which was awesome. And then I think this year, like the big deal was this was going to be the biggest preview event ever. At Adepticon, and the big rumor going around was that everybody that was there for Adepticon was going to see the first episode of the new Blood Angels show coming out. I can't remember what it's called now. Something Angels, I think. I don't know if it's... Anyway, the Blood Angels show coming out. So, but there's not really been... I haven't seen or like any actual confirmation that that's what was going to take place. So really, I guess at the end of the day, don't know. But that was rumor going around, so unsure if that's true or not. But anyway, I still think they could do something like that for those that do actually attend the event. So then there is some sort of incentive or actual little extra special thing for actually being able to attend the event. I mean, other than that, I mean, I thought it went really well, though. I mean, it was pretty seamless. They did pretty well. They slotted 15 minutes for each thing they wanted to talk about. So all said and done, it lasted about an hour and a half or so. And I think that's not including the 15 minutes prior where they kind of came on and they kind of gave like a little intro of what's going to happen, what they're going to be doing. Um, the 15 minutes wasn't a full 15 minutes for everything. There were definitely quite a few things because like each one had like a trailer that was like a minute and a half long at most. And then they would bring somebody on, they would talk about it for a little bit, and then like I said, some things there just wasn't enough meat and potatoes there to talk for a whole 15 minutes, which is probably good because then that gives them time to make sure they get the next person in queue up and going and get everything, making sure it's working properly. But it was kind of a little bit, not frustrating, right? It was just a little bit kind of annoying. Like, I found myself like then like, oh, well now I gotta wait, I think the longest probably was like 7 minutes, which isn't a lot, but it is kind of like you're really antsed and amped, wanting to get to the next thing to know what they're going to talk about. But yeah, I mean that's really just you can say first world problems or whatever, but yeah, I mean I was in the comfort of my home, having to wait a little bit, and I was working on my Thunderhawk, which had been sitting on the shelf for over a year, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this time to sit here and just start clipping it finally off of the not sprue, but whatever those block things are that Forge World puts it on in resin. Um, so I had it, so that was kind of fun to kill the time. But anyway, um, yeah, let's jump into the preview here, and I will give my third first impressions. So anyway, so we have big news for the small screen, big screen here in plastic, Psych Revelations, and the lighting of a new fire. Without further ado, let's get started. So I'm not going to play any like the trailers and stuff like that. If you're interested in seeing that, if you haven't already, I feel like probably most people have seen it since this is now, I mean, it's like a full day after. It's, as you can see down there, it's 7:36 p.m. here, Eastern Standard Time. So well past. There's many other people that did live streams and videos. So anyway, this is just all my take on these things. So anyway, like I was gonna say, I'm not gonna play any of the trailers or anything like I have in the past. Just you can definitely go to the Warhammer community site. It's all there if you haven't seen it, but I feel like most people probably have. So Warhammer Storyforge. Now this had is it Andy Smiley. I'm not really sure what his position in Games Workshop or whatever it is exactly. He always, at least the ones I've been to, has always been one of them that's come to the States and been kind of like one of the main MCs for the events. And I felt like he kind of just worked for like kind of, I guess, I don't know, I always thought it was more like like Warhammer TV or whatever, that kind of branch of the company. And now it seems like he's kind of, I don't know if he's necessarily left that position, but he's definitely heading up this Warhammer Storyforge, which is, if you kind of think of it, as like you have Games Workshop, Forge World, and then like Storyforge is now is like its own thing where basically they're going to be handling the IP in other media outlets. So, so they showed this Hammer and Bolter, with the first episode being Death's Hand, Hammer and Bolter being the new, I guess, anime series they're doing. And they're going to be in different styles. A lot of people like to compare this to, I can't remember, it's like the anime thing on Netflix, like, I want to say Death, Robots, and something, I don't know, Love, Death, and Robots, I think, maybe. I've never seen it, but anyway, this looks pretty cool. I did see there was something else that I'm more familiar with called the Animatrix, where they did a bunch of short anime style kind of standalone stories in the Matrix universe, and then there was also one called was it Halo Legends or Legacy? I think it was Legends. Legacy, I think, is the book of short stories with Halo. But anyway, there was one for Halo as well with a bunch of various different styles of anime and different stories, which is pretty cool. So this is kind of basically essentially the same thing. They haven't said a release date, a release platform, or how many episodes they're going to be. So, I don't know, we'll have to see kind of, what that's going to entail. I don't expect it to be that many, honestly. I would say probably 8 episodes, 10 if we're lucky, and if it does really well, maybe more. They'll continue it going forward, but I don't know. One thing, though, about this, with this new media stuff they're doing with the new Angels of Death, like, I think we're finally going to see and get what a lot of fans have been wanting. Now, not everything's going to be a home run hit. Not everybody's going to like it. I mean, you can look at the Ultramarines movie. At least we had something then. But now we're going to be getting a lot more. And it's definitely, some of it's going to be better than others. And that's just going to be how it is. This is definitely, they got to fill a lot of it out. I don't see this, and maybe not, I don't see this currently becoming like a huge, big thing. But, so here's my, like, pipe dream hope that comes out of all this is at the end of this with hopefully some pretty good success with getting the IP out there, getting more recognition, getting other people that had no idea what it was kind of like into it in different ways. Maybe we can start to see maybe some interest in the Hollywood feel of like an actual motion picture, like a live action motion picture. But I don't want that to rush in anything. Like, I would like it to be very well done, so we get, not just like, I don't know, the only thing that comes to mind, like crappy video game movies like Doom. Like, I don't know. I want, I want it to be good. So, alright, so moving on. So we got Age of Sigmar. I don't play Age of Sigmar. I played when Sylvaneth first came out. Like, that really dragged me in. I thought they were really awesome models. Played for a while. But then I had to consolidate down. I didn't have to, but I just, for my own sanity and stuff, you start to get things way in backlog, and you'll never get it all painted. So I had to prioritize things, and so I had to nix Age of Sigmar, because I had pretty much had my Sylvaneth army painted for the most part. But then I also had bought, like, I had pretty much 2 of everything that came out when the Overlords first came out. And then I never even got them out of the box, or much less took the cellophane wrapping off of them. So I ended up having to sell all those, new in box and in plastic, and take a loss, because even though brand new, people still don't want to buy things at full price secondhand, even if it didn't leave the box. But whatever, that kind of hurt to take a little bit of a hit, but it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, so for Age of Sigmar, we got some new elves, or elves. I can't help but look at this, AELF, and I just think Alf. But anyway. And I mean, I guess in a way, maybe this is Alf where he comes from, because he's kind of got like that cow face looking to him. But yeah, so we got some new Lumineth, big monstrous creature things. I'm not really sure. But we got these 2. You got like, this guy's like the Heartstone, or Heart of the Mountain or something. And then this one with these bonsai trees and stuff. Now, I mean, they're okay looking. I mean, I say okay. I mean, they're good models, but to me, like, when I think of a bull, like, I don't think of this like tall, lanky, spindly thing like this. I don't know. The aesthetic of this is a little bit off for me. I would think it'd be really cool if they had like an actual like big like hulking bull made from a mountain. I mean, it's a mountain, for Pete's sake. But anyway, and then these guys, I don't know if this one, maybe a little bit bigger, but when I first saw these ones, I was like putting my thumb like up and over to like, okay, they don't look too bad if you kind of cover that bullhead thing. They're actually pretty cool looking. But then, yeah, I always try to look at things, even though I don't play Age of Sigmar anymore. I always look at them for like, is there good bits and pieces in here that I can maybe use? And there's really not a whole lot here that I see a benefit to me. The hammers are a little bit too different to try to like pour it over into a kit bash for like a thunder hammer or something. So really, I didn't see much benefit here. And then, like, I don't know how people play Age of Sigmar feel, but those horn things up the top, I'm just kind of like, oof, okay, not my cup of tea, but that's all right. Middle Earth. Always love this game. Love always seeing it at like the big major events, Nova and stuff. Like, the boards always look awesome. Like, the gaming tables are amazing with the terrain and stuff. And the models have just been getting better and better. Now, this is a new plastic character, Yomer. And like I said, the models just keep getting better and better as this goes by. This is another game I would have loved to get into, but again, it's kind of prioritizing things, and then there's just nobody around my area that plays, unfortunately. So, but yeah, great model. Look at, I mean, there's so many different options here. You got the horse. I guess you can put the shield on him or not. I wonder if there's an option to even put the shield in his arm. I'm sure there is. I mean, you got this one here. You got a helmet, no helmet, spear, sword, helmet in hand. It's all kinds of cool stuff. So, really cool model. Psychic Awakening. So this was a little bit of... Alright, yeah, so for Psychic Awakening, now this was the only 40k preview. And this was a bit of a disappointment because I wanted more, but at the same time it wasn't a disappointment because deep down I like really don't want more. That being said, what I'm talking about is like there's that leaked picture that was super like digitized, blurred and everything. That I'd still like to know, like, is that a legit leak or is that something else? You know, because I want to know, like, are they gonna, like, I was hoping they were gonna reveal, like, yeah, here it is, here's the Primaris Outrider bikers, and then here's this big, like, I don't know what it is in the middle of that picture, but it looks almost like a Land Speeder, Land Raider hybrid thing. I don't know, but at the same time, I was like, it was disappointing that that wasn't confirmed one way or the other, but it was also nice to not have to worry about more Primaris models to get, because like I had said before, one of the big things I liked about 8th was, you know, I basically used it as a chance to kind of start over from clean, and so it gave me that chance to kind of start from new with my homebrew chapter and all that, and then like my hope was, you know, I'll be able to keep up with things as they come out, so that way I don't have to worry about falling behind. Sorry, it may seem kind of choppy in this part right now. You know, we got all the kids home from everything going on, and so interruptions are pretty frequent. So sorry. But yeah, my hope was to be able to keep up with everything coming out, and for the most part, it was working. And then just life, family, things happen, work, all that stuff, and so I started slowly, gradually falling behind. Then they released new stuff, and it's just like all that Vanguard Primaris stuff came out, and it's just like, man, now I'm like really behind. I'm starting to kind of catch up a little bit, but I don't want to jinx myself. But yeah, so it was nice in that aspect. But we got, you know, Fabius Bile. That was an image that was leaked. I don't know, it was a day or two before. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really have a whole lot of interest in Fabius Bile except for like that little henchman guy that was released, or that they previewed a while back. And what I liked about that is like the Fallen Marine, and they're extracting that organ, because I could use that for an apothecary or like a Helix Adept conversion, and just use like I said, like that like kind of that tool end and the organ and the Fallen Marine, and then replace the henchman for like an apothecary or a Helix. You know, because I've always kind of had like a kind of a soft spot for the Red Scorpion stuff. I've always loved how they have like apothecaries, like are their sergeants and all their squads and stuff like that, and like really just kind of like all the medical stuff is. I've kind of have a soft spot in my heart because like my day job involves the medical field. I'm not like a doctor or anything. Otherwise, I just buy whatever I want and get it all commission painted and never have to do anything. Well, I don't know. I should do another video on commission painting. I definitely am one that I definitely enjoy. Painting my own army, I feel a little bit more ownership then. But anyway, it's another video for another time. But yeah, so because of that, I always kind of like, I like the idea of having like a bunch of apothecaries and stuff running around, or Helix Adepts. Now, I love the Helix Adept idea. It's not, it's not a sergeant for the squad, but you know, it is something that you can add to the squad, which is kind of nice. Granted, it's just like another member of the Infiltrators. It's not like you can put it across any other squads right now. But I don't know. I do like that. You know, you have the Apothecary and then the Infiltrators, kind of because they're so far forward, have kind of like a, like I said, like kind of a, almost, I guess, I feel like Apothecaries are more like your fully trained, like, I guess they're more on like on a doctor style. So I guess the Helix Adepts would be more of like a medic, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, so I was kind of like, I don't really mind. So here's the old model, and as you scroll down the page, it transforms into the new Fabius Bile. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then I got to looking a little bit closer, and I was like, you know what? I could actually use these for like a cool Apothecary or Helix Adept model conversion. Like these arms up here would be great. I'm not sure what this like gun here looks like, but potential. And then like this tool pouch here with all these things. I was like, you know, I could actually, this could be a really cool model to get some conversion potential out of. So I definitely foresee myself, even this right here, I didn't even think of, well, I was thinking maybe this came, but this would be more for like if you're going to do some sort of noble or maybe a commissar or something like that. Maybe it would look good with that cane. But anyway, I'll probably end up getting this model because I want like that fallen marine with the organ being extracted, and then also like these arms, and then some of these other little bits here. The main actual body and the rest of the pack and stuff, like, I don't know, I'm not going to do anything with it. Probably trade it or sell it off to somebody. But yeah, so normally when they do a preview over a certain category or whatever, or yeah, group or whatever, like 40K, like they don't double back. They never come back to it later. So that was like, okay, well, that's unfortunate. So yeah, so it looks like in the next book, I'm not really sure what all the symbols are here. I have a pretty good, like, this is Custodes. I believe this is the Assassins. I believe this is Nurgle. I know he's got the 3 dots, but I'm not sure if the skulls are supposed to be Nurgle or not, or I don't know. And then, I don't know if this is supposed to just be Chaos Undivided, you know, so just, that's, I mean, they did mention the War of the Spider because their name is, he's the Spider or whatever, so we do know Fabius Bile and Fabius Bile and I don't know, at least Emperor's Children and stuff will be in there somewhat, so I'm sure that's Chaos Undivided or something, I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, so like I said, disappointed but not disappointed about the 40K preview, so. Then we have Warcry. Don't play Warcry. I'm kind of waiting. I feel like I'm going to want to get into Warcry soon. I'm just waiting for that right warband to come out. These all seem to be completely unique warbands, somewhat based on other factions, but I haven't actually seen a warband on it. I'll have to look again. Someone might correct me if I'm wrong, but I would probably jump into Warcry if a Sylvaneth or an Overlord's warband came out, because it's such a small number, and I love those two armies from the Age of Sigmar universe, that I would probably jump on board if there was that. I know that they have those for Shadespire, but I haven't, as far as I know, they're not in the Warcry aspect of things. So yeah, so they got these guys. They're the Scions of Flame. And again, I just kind of like, well, let's see if there's any good bits to use. And there really isn't anything I saw like that I could aesthetically use. A lot of their weaponry looks kind of more of the, I don't know, barbarian, Eastern, I want to say like Persian, Chinese style kind of thing. But I don't know. It's like anything. It's very ambiguous, but then also brings in a lot of different world kind of old cultures and stuff. And mixes it all around. So yeah, but there's some cool bits and things in here. I thought, like, you know, if you wanted to do like a civilian population from Vulcan or something, you could, because there's definitely, I mean, everything's got fire and stuff like that, but then also a lot of the times they incorporate these scales in there too, so a lot of things have these scales on them. So you know, that might be it, you know, if you were doing some kind of a narrative thing and you wanted a bunch of civilian populace or something like that, so. And then we have the Horus Heresy. Now this for me was the MVP of the reveals. Of course, it being the Lion L. Johnson. Super awesome model in my opinion. I love everything about it. I love the fact that I love and don't love the fact that you get options, because now it puts me in such a predicament because they give you the Lion Sword, which is not pictured here. I actually might, I'm going to turn this down because it might get loud.
What idol?
Let's get down to,
is the first.
There's the head. Make that big real quick. So there's the head without the helmet, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure he's got the sword in his hand right now.
Is the lion.
It's a beautiful model. Yeah, and like I said, they give you the option of helmet, no helmet, and sword, or the, was it the Wolf Blade, the chainsword, which the chainsword actually gives him quite a bit of buffs here talking about. I don't think it's in the article. I'll look here in a second, but it gives, I think it's like strength +3 or +4, and he's already, I think he's a +3 strength with the sword, or the chainsword, and he's already at strength 7 or something like that. But yeah, so I was like looking at this, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get this model. I already have Vulcan, which is my absolute favorite Loyalist Legion, and then Alfarius is my favorite, second favorite. Well, it's kind of a tie, I guess, between Salamanders and Alpha Legion for my favorite Loyalist Legion. If you see what I did there. But yeah, like, I don't know, I really love, I mean, and Alfarius' model is by far, still my favorite of the Primaris ones. And then Vulcan I love, and I also had to get, because my Salamanders army I had was my biggest army I had at one point. Fortunately, they're all gone, but you can definitely check them out if you go to the Facebook page and look up that album. But yeah, it was a bittersweet. But I kept Vulcan. I still haven't painted him. He's built. And Alfarius is also not painted. He's built, and I got like the base layer down for him. But again, it's that time stuff. But anyway, getting back on track here. I love this model. I think it's a great looking model, and I'm probably going to get it because, technically speaking, Dark Angels was my first army that I got. When was that? Fifth edition, when I finally bought models and tried to play. I picked up the Dark Angels, and I didn't actually get a game in until 6th edition happened. So, yeah. So probably, I'll say 100% right now, certainty, I'm definitely going to be getting the Lion. It's an awesome model for sure, and I would like to get an earlier one. I feel like there's probably pretty good quality control with these, but with any really plastic is not as bad. You'll just get a lot more flash over time, but I feel like with the resin models, a lot of times the molds tend to, I don't know if they get slip more or they get more uneven as things, I don't know. So the sooner, I feel, or the earlier cast you get, the better quality usually you're going to get. So there he is again with the helmet and the wolf blade. I still don't know though which way I want to go, because I almost yeah, I don't know. People can say, oh, you can magnetize on it. Well, I'm never going to be bringing them in a game. It's purely going to be a display model, so it's kind of tough to be like, okay, so I don't know. It's actually tempting just to go with the helmet, which I love the look of the helmet, this old school knight look. Just because it's easier to just paint a helmet than it is a face and make it look decent. And then I love the sword. I do, because then you just get the whole knight aesthetic if you give him a sword and a knight's helmet. So I don't know. It might end up being that. And then these guys here, these fallen marines here, are all Night Lords. Now they mentioned in the live stream, the I guess the guy they were talking to about it, he has a fallen Dark Angels army, but he's saying he'll probably get this and just because or whatever. But then so I guess the other presenter, MC, or you know, call him, asked him what he was going to paint these fallen marine as, if he was going to paint them all as the fallen and then have, you know, the lion there. But as you can see there, these shoulder pads are definitely Night Lord. Like, you'd have to, I don't know how easy it'd be if these are all part of the sculpted arm and body, because sometimes that happens with the resin, or if they're separate or not, and you could swap them out. I'm not sure, but it's interesting because on my Vulcan, I definitely swapped out the Fallen Marines shoulder for a Night Lord's one to make it look like Vulcan was smacking down on some Night Lords versus a bunch of fallen salamanders around him, because the way his pose was and everything kind of looked like he was about to like come down with his hammer, and then you had like these fallen salamanders around him. It looked like, did Vulcan just smash a bunch of his own guys? So I had to switch that out at least. But and then the last thing we have is the event exclusive lieutenant. So they made it, this was going to be the last event it was going to be available at, so they made it available on their online store. It's the only thing currently with everything going on, since they've shut down all their shipping and ordering. It's the only thing currently you can pre-order, and they said it'd be up for the next 2 weeks for pre-order, and then it's a made-to-order thing. And I looked, and it doesn't look like there's any limit. Like, the max you can put on their little thing is 10, and then I, like, did that, and I just kept hitting it, and I, like, head up to, like, 50 in my cart. I've deleted it all. I didn't buy 50. I didn't buy any, actually, because I still have some. Um, but, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people like saying, "Oh, I don't like Ultramarines. I'm not gonna get it." And it's like, well, it's painted that way. That's a transfer on his other shoulder, and I guess you could kind of say his whatever you call, I'm not, is it Talbert, the kind of loincloth, that stuff there, like that leather. Like, yes, that's kind of Ultramarine, I guess, aesthetic. But really, I mean, it's not um, that. I mean, he's a pretty generic Marine in general. And then a lot of the other people too will say, well, I don't need more lieutenants. It's like, well, then don't paint him as a lieutenant. And also that shoulder pad with the lieutenant symbol on there, while it is actually sculpted on there, so it's not like a transfer or anything, it is still a separate pauldron. It's not part of the arm or anything, so it's a really easy swap that out for a blank one or whatever else you want there. So easy fix there. And then my other thing I would just say is, I mean, it's got some great parts on it, honestly. Like that arm with the helmet holding in there, and then the other one with the sword, that iron halo. Like, all those are great parts you could use for kit bashes. And then that stance even, too. You could do a lot of different things just with that stance alone with other characters. So you can make him a captain, lieutenant, you can make him a sergeant, or you can just use all those bits for other things and then make him just some regular random thing, you know. Another thing too, and I just thought of it myself, that would be kind of cool, is you could make it like an objective marker terrain piece where you could paint it up to look like a statue. I mean, that's like a great pose for a statue that would be, you know, in the middle of a square or something like that, actually. So that's actually, I kind of like that idea a lot myself, actually. I might steal my own idea. So, and yeah, so then, what's this? Available to buy. Okay, I think this is just the whole yeah, it's 2 hour. Yeah, so this is the preview, so if you wanted to, like, watch it again and see all the stuff they talk about and go into there, you could. So, all in all, excuse me, really great preview. Not a lot, and I'm kind of a little curious, because they kept saying this was going to be the biggest preview yet. Now, next Saturday they're doing another one. I've heard that the next Saturday was a preview that they're going to do for Warhammer World, but I've also heard it's the second half of the Adepticon preview, because the Adepticon was supposed to be super big. But I don't know for sure. And then, again, with all the hype around the Adepticon preview, it's going to be the biggest, best one yet, and there's a bunch of reveals, and it's going to be shocking stuff, and yet it seemed very kind of regular. There wasn't anything that was super, like, shocking to me. I mean, getting a Primarch is pretty awesome, but it's for 30K too. It's not like a Primarch's returning to 40K. That would have been pretty huge. So, I mean, the fact that the Lions getting a model for 30K is great, and definitely, like I said, probably the highlight for me of the preview, but at the end it wasn't like some groundbreaking, shocking news by any means. So, yeah. Well, anyway, that's kind of just my I guess, first impressions for the third time. Let me know what you think. What was your favorite thing that you see? Was there anything that you were hoping to see that you didn't get to see? Anything you're disappointed about? Or anything else? And what do you think next week's going to bring? Are we going to get that big reveal? Or is it just going to be more of kind of just, you know, the same with this uncertainty of everything going on nowadays too? So, yeah. All right. Well, all that being said, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please check out the Facebook page. It'll be in the link below. And then if you also haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe and check out the other videos I have. I got all kinds of videos sharing my opinions on different hobby aspects, where I have my series of attempts at coherent thought, where I'll bring up some kind of a subject and just try to kind of come up with my thoughts and opinions on it. We got the Paint Marines bookshelf, which I'll be coming out with some new episodes of that soon, because gotten plenty of time to read finally again and get some more caught up. So I do kind of a generic book review on a one of the books, usually within the 40K universe that I read, and then I go a more in-depth breakdown with spoilers in that video as well. Then I have the workbench with various tips and techniques of different things that I've tried and things I've found that work the best for different things. I don't go and redo a lot of things other people have done, because if you're looking for a certain kind of technique there's already a video out there, I usually don't redo it unless I have found a new way to do it or an easier way or something like that. Otherwise, I don't like to redo a bunch of stuff other people have done. Because most people don't even then watch it because they're like, I already seen how to do that. But anyway, yeah, so please just check out the rest of the channel and see what I got going there, and please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time.